What if you could create more kindness in the world just by being you? Everyone has the potential to create and receive more kindness. What if kindness is more than being nice and compassionate to others? Have you ever considered what having more kindness for you could create in your life? Get ready to learn how the energy of kindness is integral to reducing stress in your life and how it can assist in healing your body. Now, here is the host of Cultivating Kindness with Karen, facilitator of healing, Karen Leslie.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to have you here with me again today. We have another interesting episode on Cultivating Kindness with Karen. And really, I think so many people disregard the importance of kindness and the impact that it can have on you, yourself, your own body, and then how you also show up for others. And this will be a big part of our conversation today. And it's sort of that energy of what really is kindness when you're speaking to another person. What words are kind for that person to hear? Not maybe so much from your perspective of the words you're saying, but the words that that person is hearing and the energy that is in those words. Kindness is such an integral part of us living a life that is happier, easier, more fulfilling, and just whatever other positive words you want to add on to it. And so today, you're here with myself, Karen Leslie, of course. And again, thank you for being here. This whole idea of, just be yourself. And for so many of us, we go into like, what? Like, how? Like, what do you mean? And am I not being myself? Some of you may think, or others are, well, who is that? I don't even know who I am. Like, so when you tell me to be myself, like, panic or whatever it might be, there's such a wide range of ways that we can respond when someone just, maybe quite innocently just says, hey, just be yourself. You'll be fine. Maybe not. You might have actually been better, more fine, poor English, before that statement was given to you. So why do I think that this is a great topic? Because it's something I have dealt with for a long time. For years and years and years, I would have people say, just be yourself. Everything will be okay. Just be yourself. You don't need to be anybody else or whatever it might be. And as a result, really hearing that so often, it caused me even greater confusion. And what I would sometimes do is I would then try and hold on to the person I tried to be most often, because that tended to have a little more comfort for me, and thought that must be who I am. That must be the natural Karen. And then I found out that that was really untrue. And that person was so far away from what I would now look at as being closer to who I am just naturally. And do I, as of today, know exactly who I am? Nope. And now that's okay. Now I can be more comfortable with that than I could in the past. And part of my discomfort was all those people saying, just be yourself. It's not hard. Just be yourself. It's better. Just be yourself. And it would make my head spin, my blood pressure go up, my hands sweat. I go into anxiety. So I also feel that I can talk about this, because, as I said, because that is not, I don't have that response to it anymore. And I have a greater sense of who I am now than I did 2 years ago, 18 years ago, 40 years ago. Right. Today, I am a very successful coach. an expert healer. Today, I have figured out how to put together the skill set to help people move out of really what has become a comfortable pattern of being dissatisfied, a comfortable pattern of being depressed, and that may ruffle a few feathers, a comfortable pattern of always being in anxiety. Because if that's all we know, we adjust to it. And we tend to know nothing different other than when those ways of being escalate and get even more uncomfortable. And all of this goes to helping to hide who we are, making it more difficult for us to get a sense of who we really are. So that line, just be yourself, like, no, that doesn't work. With coaching and energy work, working with your mindset, your thought patterns, your belief systems, unconscious programs that are always running, because that's what our subconscious is. It's just all of these programs going on a continual loop. When we work with these different parts of our being and our way of being, we unravel it. We start to untangle it. And then as a result, we start to be able to see patterns. We see things that are repeating. And then we can see the clues that those are giving us. And then you add in the energy work to heal you on a cellular level and on a chemical level, so that you're not getting all those same prompts and really they're like cravings for that same chemical reaction to be happening in your body. And you start to, and well, the word that's there is drastically shift what's going on. And then you start to see you. Now, for some of us, myself included, when I started to see me, I wasn't so sure I liked what I saw. I was definitely uncomfortable with what I saw. And I have had a lot of judgments about that. And thanks to people I've worked with over the years, and thanks to my own skill set and when I learned how to be more willing to see, more vulnerable, more willing to accept that I may not enjoy what I'm seeing and learning, then it became easier. So today, I know that's kind of a long intro into today's subject, so sorry about that. But no, not really, not sorry. It is important that we get a sense of who we are. And right now, most of us don't have that. And that causes us to have difficulties with this, what seems like a very simple statement, just be who you are, often meant lovingly, meant with compassion, meant to assist you, and not realizing how anxiety producing it is. You know, I've said it. I remember saying it not long ago. Oh, I guess, well, year and a half, maybe a little more, saying to one of my sons going to a job interview and saying, just be yourself, just be who you are. And thinking I was being helpful. What I could have been doing was setting him up for anxiety, doubt, disbelief, judgments of who he thinks he may have been or who he is. And then going into that job interview, I could have really derailed him so that he may not have shown up as a confident, capable, and intelligent person that he is, which is what I was meaning by saying, hey, just be yourself. But if that individual doesn't have that sense of who they are in a positive light, then we may have just created a whole hornet's nest of difficulties for them. Now, fortunately, I believe that's not what I created for him. but it's possible that I could have. And I know that people have said that to me and created that difficulty for me when I landed in the situation. I remember it for a job interview in particular when I was quite young. And I also have had it said when I was going to some networking events, meeting people I didn't know in person for the first time. I've had it years ago in church. I remember people saying that to me, especially when I was going to be speaking to the congregation and would be nervous, and people would, oh, just be yourself, just be you, you'll be fine. And back then, especially, I knew myself as a person riddled with anxiety. I knew myself as a person very afraid of judgment. I knew myself as a person who truly did not have a handle on how to cope with negative comments. They just bottomed me out. So we're going to also talk about some tools and some things you can do to help shift some of this as well. And we're going to be looking at other ways to kind of delve into who we are. And maybe you'll start to get a bit of a glimpse of who you are in a different perspective by the end of today's show. So when your brain screams back, how, or I'm so nervous, how do I even think that way? What do you want to do? Most people want to hide, want to leave the room, want to cancel the appointment that they're talking, in reference to. And that will only be a result of having difficulties in understanding who you are or who you're hiding. It can go either way. I've often on the shows, and those of you who listen, on a regular basis, you'll know I refer to two sides of the same coin. So you're going to go into possibly so much judgment of yourself because there's so much that you need to hide that you don't like. Or you could possibly be going into more of an arrogant side because that's worked for you and you figure that's the only way to cope. And so you bolster yourself up that way. And then that energy doesn't come across well either. So let's find the happy medium. Let's find that space together today where you can use some of the tools that we're going to go through. And I think most of the show today is going to be helping you work with this energy. And so if you're listening live, if you're on any of the live stream platforms right now, and you've got questions or you want to be part of this conversation, you can type in, into where it's being live streamed, but I would love it too if you would come over to the Inspired Choices Network / chat room. So inspiredchoices.com / chat room, and join me here so we can actually have a conversation one-on-one real time as we're going through the show today. Because I would love to know if the tools I'm suggesting and the ways of looking at it actually make sense to you. Are they helpful, or do you need a little bit more explanation? And as always, you can always send me an email later on, Karen@KarenLeslie.ca, and we can carry on the conversation through that if you like. But to be able to get immediate feedback or support or a little coaching, then coming into the chat room truly is the best way to look at everything, the best way to get in touch with me right now in the here and now. So we're coming up to our first break. So please don't go away. Thank you for joining me, here on the Inspired Choices Network for Cultivating Kindness with Karen. And when we come back, we're going to start to look a little more specifically at kind of what gets messed up when people say, hey, just be yourself, you'll be fine. And that auto response that some of you may have. And we'll try and look at different auto responses that go on in your thought process and in your body to try and cover as many ways as I can in the time we've got together today to answer most of the questions that people may be having while they're listening. So we're going to go now. Relax. We're only going to be a couple of minutes, and then we'll carry on our conversation very shortly. So thanks, everyone. We'll be right back.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also send an email to karen@karenleslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for being here with me. I think I would like to, maybe it's a tiny disclaimer, not quite sure. But we are on the day after a full moon in a highly energetic time right now from the planetary perspective. And as a result, I am processing and feeling still a ton of energy from everything that's going on. So I'm working very hard at staying very level and keeping everything in line, but you may find me speeding up, slowing down, being a little more erratic today than I am on most of my shows. So just a heads up, it's all good, everything's great, but I am receiving a ton of information and a little more than normal during my shows. And so trying to keep it level and hearing what I'm required to hear to share with you, it's proving to be a challenge, although I've asked for it to slow down. So we'll see how it all goes. And that may sound really odd to some of you, and that's okay. The effect of the moon on people is very real. However, many people don't realize just how strongly affected they are. And this is actually one of the areas of work that I do. I have a group that it's called, what is it called? Moon Cycle Transformations. And I work with people to help support them through all of these energetic shifts that are going on. And we are in a very heightened time period now until actually mid to late September. And we're in the energy too of the Lion's Gate portal, August 8. So if you'd like more information on that too, get in touch with me. I'm not going to go into much more detail with it right now, but it really is important to know how you respond to the moon and what you can do to change it so that you can work with it instead of fighting against all of the energies and having fatigue and headaches and digestive troubles, sleep problems, all that kind of stuff. All right, so back to just be yourself. There was a time when I would not tell people that I worked or was sensitive to the moon. I actually told myself for decades that I wasn't. I'm a Cancer sign as well, which means I'm ruled by the moon. And so me saying, no, it had no effect on me, that's somebody else's thing. I was in total denial. I did not want to admit, because to me, it was like a weakness. I wasn't able to deal with it. So I denied it, didn't talk about it, and hid it away. That was part of denying who I am. Now that I am openly comfortable and talk about it, and when I'm sensing things and know what's going on, I can deal with them. Because when you're hiding parts of who you are, then you're not able to work with it. You can't smooth out the difficulties or the rough points because you won't let yourself see them. Right? You pull that curtain over, close that door, and whatever's behind it, that's where it stays. And that is being very unkind to you. You know, another aspect of myself that I wouldn't tell people, and one of my sons, a number of years ago, 5 or more, would say, please don't tell anyone you talk to dead people. I'd only started letting my family know that I could communicate with spirit, but it needed to be a family secret, because he didn't want his friends knowing that that's what I did, because he didn't want the judgment on him for who his mother is. My people-pleasing side was like, yeah, cool, no problem, don't worry, I won't say a thing. Now I tell people. Yesterday, my husband even told some of his co-workers that I clear entities and I can clear homes and work with the ground and that I talk to spirits. And he was telling me this last night and I was like, okay, that's a really big shift. And I checked in because my immediate response was, uh-oh, okay. Instead of, yeah, I do. Great. Thank you for telling them. So I still carry some of that fear of judgment with who I naturally am. And now because I know that, because I checked in, it's one more point I can work with. Something else I can heal and let go to allow myself to show up fully present. So where are you at when we talk about just be yourself? What comes to mind for you? Does that phrase actually help you? There will be some of you that it will be comforting. It'll be reassuring. It'll be a reminder of those aspects of yourself that you embody, that you're comfortable with, that you wish to show to others so that can come forward. For others, you're going to carry fear and judgment of yourself, or fear or or be in fear of judgment from others when that is said to you. So today's show is going to be a little bit more for you, looking at why there's that fear of the judgment, what has gone on in your childhood and as you've been growing up, through different jobs you've had, different relationships you've had. Your mind is holding on to all of those times when things didn't work out too well. It's much better at holding on to those than it is when things were great. We're really programmed to hold on to the difficulties. And so it will be much easier for all of us to go to the, oh yeah, but, and be uncomfortable with this. Looking at, as I did when, my husband's coworkers now know part of the work I do, and that feeling I got inside, I remember taking the breath in, looking at those moments, allowing yourself to stop, pause, and see how you just reacted is such a skill set that is so important for you to develop. Staying on autopilot is no one's friend. And yet we're encouraged to be that way in many of our activities. Muscle memory, just do it automatically. You don't even have to think about it anymore. Well, when you think about how much of your life, every minute during your day, that you are on autopilot and missing information about yourself, then that causes a big problem in the days, weeks, and years ahead. slowing down, hearing your thoughts, listening to the words you speak, and then choosing, looking at, understanding your reactions or what comes next is very, very important if you wish to change something or if you wish to heal. This information can be tough, and this is why working with a coach, a psychologist, a professional of some way is super, super helpful. The mind is going to try and weave a story around it as to justification as to why you reacted that way, that's okay. But is it? If all of this is preventing you from getting a really good sense of who you are, how is that okay? Just because it's been the norm for you, for all of us, doesn't mean it's okay. But we've come to believe that if we're comfortable with something, it's okay. If we don't create additional stress or anxiety or some other emotion that we really don't enjoy, then where we are is okay. If those around us, their emotions, their response all stays level, then that's okay. You know, it reminds me, one of our hosts, Lizzie, her show is called, maybe I'm going to get it wrong. It's either I'm Fine or I'm Just Fine. And she talks about just, being fine is not okay. And she's brilliant. She has all kinds of amazing things on her show. And it's the same idea as what I'm saying right now. Being comfortable, just sort of accepting that that's the norm is not okay. Oh, thank you. I'm Not Fine is what the show is called by Lizzie Enns. And it's really, really good. But we get on this autopilot. How are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. But are you? Same idea. Just be yourself. Okay. But I don't know who that is. So I'll just stay in my comfort zone. Not helpful, gang. Really not helpful. It's going to boil down to a couple of things for you. One, how serious are you about wanting to change? Because if you're not seriously looking at making changes, you're not going to find the people to help you. You're not going to find the strength within to move through some difficult or challenging moments. And you're not also going to be able to hold on to the goal, the image, the picture, the joy, the excitement of where it will take you after you've done the healing. What will that give you? Who will you actually be able to see who you are, that you can enjoy and live as that person? But if your desire to get there is not strong enough, it's going to be tough. You're going to do what I did, because my desire was bottom low for a long time. Step forward, a little start, a bit of a hurdle. Nah, okay. Back up, go back again. Repeat. Back again. Repeat. And what I found was the distance between deciding to try again was getting farther and farther apart, because I was telling myself a story of holding on to the idea that, well, it didn't work, so I probably can't do this, or I'm not meant to know that about myself. It's put away for a reason. It keeps me safe. All of that's all programming. It's all lies. It's all stuff in your way, and it will stop you from healing. It will stop you from being able to see who you really are. Now, when someone says to me, oh, just be yourself, it's kind of like I get a little giddy or giggly even with it. And it's like, I know there's different aspects to me. I'm not the same person all the time. I'm not static at all. And it's like, it can be one or two things like, oh, I wonder who's going to show up. Like, how am I going to present as I respond to the energy and people around me? Or who would I like to be? As in me, not who would I like to be as in mimicking somebody else or mimicking an energy I think I should be, but who would I, or what part of Karen would I like to have show up? Maybe something you've never thought about before. So give it some thought and do so while we're on our break. We are here on Cultivating Kindness with Karen on the Inspired Choices Network. And I feel like I'm kind of talking at you a fair bit today, but I think that's okay because I feel like we need to understand why things aren't changing and why we don't have a good sense as to who we are. And then look out, because so much can open up for you in your world. So on that thought, hang out there for just a couple of minutes and we will be right back after these messages. Thanks, everyone.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. And yes, you can always send me an email if you'd like. Plus, you can find me on all the different social media platforms. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Pinterest, wherever. I'm on all of them, Instagram, and fairly active in most of them. And many of them have my shows listed on them as well. So you can go there to listen to the replays also if you would like. So there really is no reason not to reach out, to be perfectly honest, if you've got questions or if I say something that you love or maybe you don't. And if you do love it, then I would love it if you would like or love the shows and share them and let people know about them. And also maybe let me know of other topics you would like me to talk about. I'm really happy to talk about virtually anything here on Cultivating Kindness with Karen, and to bring it and look at it from the perspective of how can we look at this from a place of kindness. And the kindness is for you, for me. And from there, we can look at, okay, how can this also be a kindness when we're working or talking or being with other people? But it's paramount. It really is paramount that we find the ability to be kind to ourselves. And one of the fundamental places to start is knowing who you are. Then when you know who you are, with all honesty and all the bumps and bruises and cuts and warts, as well as beauty and joy and shinings and everything else and compassion, all of it all put in together. Then you have the seat of power, really, is what I'm hearing, then that gives you that place where you can look and think, I love this. How do I cultivate more of this to show up in me? That one, not so cool. I don't really enjoy that. All right. How do I change that one so I can let that part go? Stop hiding it. It's not hiding it, burying it, or putting it aside. It's moving out of that energy, letting it go so it no longer is part of your regular energetic makeup. It's very different. I really encourage you to not just push aside the parts of you you don't enjoy or you don't want others to see, like talking to dead people or whatever it might be for you. Okay. It's important. You know, when I pulled some cards before my designing the show or putting it together a few weeks ago, one of them was the never ending story. And oh my gosh, that is so true. Like, one of the reasons we get upset with that line when it's said to us is because of that constant stories going on in the background that has become a program that you keep on a constant loop, right? It's full of distorted guidance. So many of our thoughts are based on distorted guidance. People may have meant well, but it wasn't speaking to your truth. This distorted guidance stops you from being yourself. Right? You're living a story that's not yours. It's being narrated by another person. And when I was reading this card, I was like, oh my gosh, that is so true. So I wanted to share that with you. You know, and the second card, because I usually I almost always pull two, was called the Thinker. And this one was really, its message was just keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Don't make things complicated. Don't get too lost in the strategies and going down a path that will make it harder for you to follow and then to achieve what it is that you're looking to do. So keep it simple. All right. The one of the tools I want to talk to you about, and I talk about it a lot, and you may get bored of it, that's okay, but it is waves of kindness, right? All you do is say those 3 words, waves of kindness. That's it. And then let the energy automatically, it'll kick in all on its own and it will come to you. Had I not been able to easily understand why I had the automatic response when my husband told his coworkers that I talked to spirit, waves of kindness would have been my next go-to, to call that in, to move out that energy that had settled in right away. So then I could have some clarity to understand my reaction. Right? Use it all the time. Please, 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 everyone, use it all the time. It really does amazing things. It's so, oh yes. So if you are actually doing some work and looking at parts of you, you're allowing that vulnerability and something comes up that you really don't like or have trouble dealing with, again, call in waves of kindness in that moment to help shift out, move out that energy. Don't let it get locked in or held into place. Then that reaction to the information you just got will lessen, if not go away 100%. And then that will give you the ability to look at it from a more peaceful state and a place of allowing yourself some more clarity to understand. It's possible you might need do some belief clearing work. If you've got a very strong belief about something and that is causing you to hide who you are, then that belief needs to be dealt with first. Understand why you've hung on to it or are holding on to it with such ferocity, whatever the word is right now. And then you can be able to start to let it go. But if you've got a very strong belief in place, it's going to hide parts of you that will be in contradiction to your belief, even though that is actually who you are. I hope that makes sense. The next aspect of this is, are you truly able to look in the future, see what you would like to have in your life, who you'd like to be, what you'd like your life to look at, what's your dream job, what would you like? Where would you like to live? You know, are you a country person? Are you a big city person, mountains or water? If you are unable to access who you are, you're going to be unable to also put together a dream that will work for you. So that may sound kind of weird, but if you've got a dream of something, okay, I've wanted to have a podcast or a show or be a public speaker for a long, long time, like decades. I've always taught in person. I was, a La Leche League leader for 10 years when my children were young, helping new moms breastfeed their children. I've always been teaching, leading, doing something, but I wanted a bigger stage. That dream was never going to come to fruition because of the parts of me that I was keeping hidden, because I wouldn't allow myself to look at them because they were upsetting to me. They were so full of judgment that I couldn't go there. But I had that dream. Okay, so fast forward, here I am now, over 7 months on the Inspired Choices Network. To get to here, truthfully, did not happen because I maintained the dream. It happened because I started to learn who Karen is. I welcomed the strengths, learned how to work with them, and I welcomed the fears and the doubts and the shame and everything else that was going on so it could be healed. I have worked on healing trauma. I've worked on changing my belief patterns that weren't mine. They were those distorted guidance that I got, that I bought into, that created a narrative that I didn't design. So if there's something you would like and it's not coming forward, this may be one of the reasons. There's a lot of conversation out there about imagining your future self. Go talk to your future self. Bring that energy back. And I actually have a meditation, a guided meditation. I work with some, not all, but some of my clients with, and I guide them through this to bring that energy back so they can get a glimpse of who they are. Those who are more successful with working with it have worked with belief clearing and stopping the comfort of hiding who they are. It's really key. So if your dreams aren't coming through, this may be one of the reasons, because you're not allowing yourself to see you. And you may be basing a dream or a goal or an ideal that truly isn't you. It's not a match. It's not where you are or where you can possibly end up based on why you arrived on this planet. So again, that may challenge a few belief systems, and that's okay. It's really important that you make a choice that you want to change something, that you want to actually get to know you deeply, spend time with you, meditate, work with a healer, whatever it is that you require. You may need physical healing, physical adjustments to your body, different types of physical therapies to help you. Because we can lock some of this into our body and into our joints in different ways too. Like that's a whole other realm of expertise. But it all gets in the way of you being comfortable when someone says, oh, just be yourself, you'll be fine. You want to be able to go, yeah, I will. I will be fine. Thank you for that reminder. Now, on that note, thank you, because we need to go to our next break. So don't go away. We'll be back here on Cultivating Kindness with Karen just in a couple of minutes. I'll try and wrap all of this up into a nice package so it makes sense for you. So don't go away, gang. We'll be here in just a couple more minutes. Bye.
We all have different experiences with and definitions of kindness. These experiences and beliefs about kindness have influenced who we are today and how we see the world. The universe is always listening. So what are you telling the universe today? Tune in to Cultivating Kindness with Karen each week as Karen guides you to understanding how each choice you are making is either keeping you stuck or opening up the energy of empowerment for you. Listen to Cultivating Kindness with Karen Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1 p.m. Central Time, 12 p.m. Mountain Time, 11 a.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is Cultivating Kindness with Karen. To participate in the program, join the live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also send an email to Karen@KarenLeslie.ca. Now, back to the program.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with me. Let's see if we can wrap this all up together in just our last number of minutes that we've got here. So some of the things I said may have piqued your interest, may have had a few light bulbs go off, and you're thinking, okay, I've got some ideas of what I can do for myself. Or you may have thought, yeah, you know what? I really want to change this. I really, really do desire to know more about who I am and what's waiting for me as I go on that journey. So if that's the case and you would like to work with me, get in touch. I have actually a fabulous, fabulous special going on right now for my birthday. And if you listened to last week's show, you would have heard about it. But for those of you who missed it, I turned 65 in July. So I put the number 65 together and the number 22, which was the day of my birthday. So for $65, you can have an hour's session with me, a great deal. And I'm offering this only to 22 people. Now we're down to 14 or 15 people. I forgot to check the spaces that are open. All of the appointments must be paid for and booked before the end of August 31st, 2023. Any appointments that you want to book with me as of September 1st, 2023, go back to my original pricing. So if you would like to explore some of this, here's a great time to do so with me. Get in touch with me, send me an email, and just put in the subject birthday offer, and we can set this up for you, and we can get some changes, some things going for you. So when you think about, learning more about yourself, it can feel overwhelming. And I understand that. And it was for me for a long time. Really, one of the keys that helped me was finding the right people to work with. I did bounce around taking so many courses and just jumping from person to person. And it made it more difficult, to be very honest, than working with someone for a period of time. And one of the tools, too, that I didn't mention in the previous segment that I want to bring to your attention is the importance of reconnecting to our bodies. When we get stressed or when we go into any form of difficulty, we go to the mind. It's an automatic shift. You have no control over it. And then we lose touch with the body. So yes, it's automatic, but you can shift it back immediately, like I did with the example I spoke about earlier as well. So learning what feels correct for your body and learning what does not feel correct, some people call it your yes and your no's, or however you want to phrase it, is key. So you may go into a little bit of anxiety or panic, or some energy comes up. Call in ways of kindness, move that out, calm everything down, and then check in with your body. Check in with your body to see if I'm, is Karen Leslie the right person for me to work with at this time? If you get a yes, reach out, right? If you get a no, cool. maybe next month, maybe next year. But it's important for you to reconnect to your body and understand what works for you. This brings us out of being the person others want us to be, and that can be uncomfortable. It brings us out of hiding who we are, because if we're being honest, and whatever the yes or the no is, it's going to give us information about some parts of us that we may be hiding away. Then you've got an option for what your next choice is going to be. So, reconnecting to your body. If you don't know how to do that and you want a quick little conversation for me to help you, then let me know that as well. I have a 30-minute free call with people just to see if we're a good fit to work together. And, I can give some tips and help you with helping to reconnect to yourself and understanding, what is a contribution to you, or what is something your body doesn't wish you to be doing, thinking, saying, eating, whatever it might be, right? So again, KarenLeslie.ca for my website, or Karen at Karen Leslie if you want to send me .ca if you want to send me an email. Right. Okay, the only word I'm hearing, we owe it to ourselves to learn who we are. If we wish to live a life that we enjoy, then we have to stop hiding parts of us. We have to stop ignoring the information that our body has, the wisdom that it shares with us all the time, every day. We have to look at what is a contribution to us in this moment that will lead us to the next moment, which is also a contribution to us. We build on this, and we build that level of kindness towards ourselves. As we build on this kindness, it gets easier. It really does. It gets easier to see more parts of ourselves, and then to start looking forward and seeing, okay, now that I know this about me, now that I know that I have this ability, how can I work with this? How can this actually be a contribution to me? Because it couldn't have been one up till now because you weren't aware of it. So there's a lot you can shift. And then when someone says, hey, just be yourself, like I said earlier, you can be happy, gleeful, right? Somebody said to me on Facebook earlier, well, if I'm not being myself, who am I being? Like, I'm always being myself. That's really untrue. Unless you've really worked on getting to know who you are, chances are you are not being yourself. That is your mind telling you a story, right? That's a narrative that's been given to you because that's how you've always shown up. So if you're curious, or if you really want to know who you are, then make that commitment, make that choice to learn about yourself, however you choose to do it. And I would be happy to help you, as well as so many of the other hosts on Inspired Choices Network can also be of great assistance to you. So before I forget, next week, we're going to be talking about our thoughts again. It's called Biggest Downfall, Believing Our Thoughts. So can you see how it all ties in? I hope you can see that, because that was the whole idea, that we'd be able to tie in the two shows together. Remember, those thoughts are really a narrative that were given to you by somebody else. They're distorted and they're not accurate, and they're hiding you from you. So my wish is that I've stirred something within you to maybe help you to find a little spark inside to learn more about who you are, so you can show up how you wish to at any moment. And as always, I'm sending you waves of kindness for any calming or anything you need now, and as you go through the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, so much.
Thank you for listening to Cultivating Kindness with Karen. Karen Leslie returns Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, 12 p.m. Mountain, 11 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can find Karen at KarenLeslie.ca and follow her on social media. Until next Wednesday, Karen is sending you waves of kindness for a fabulous week. Remember, it's only you who has the power to be and receive the kindness required to change your life.